all the men had to pay this. You know what I'm saying? As forth as redemption money. And this is what set them apart. No, all men 20 and upwards had to pay this. You know what I'm saying? When we turn around and we look at it, it's that the blood of Mashiach is what cuts us off, or it separates us. See, look at 1 John 4 and 4. It separates us from the world. And what separates us from the world, we'll look at 1 John 5 and 7 right behind that, is this man's blood and his flesh. You know what I'm saying? Because basically, when you say the bread, the water, and his flesh, basically, his body and his blood. Then we'll turn around and look at Nabal, the fool, is saying, should I give this to people and I don't know who they are? We'll sit back and see how he looking at, how that'll be the Pharisees looking at the Gentiles. Should they get this? And we don't know who these people are. 4 and 4, 1 John 4 and 4. Ye are of Elohim, little children, and have overcome them, because greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. They are of the world, therefore speak they of the world, and the world hear them. We are of Elohim, he that know Elohim hear us. He that is not of Elohim hear not us. Hereby we know the Ruach of truth and the Ruach of error. See, when you sit back and you look at Nabal, Nabal was a fool. Now they coming in the name of David. They coming in the name of Abiyah and the name of Yahusha. Nabal could not hear them because he was of the world. He was stubborn. He was stiff-necked. He was a fool. You know what I'm saying? See, greater than what who was the one who was in them or the one who sent them. Because he said if Nabal would have been an Elohim, he would have heard Elohim's word, and therefore he would have tended unto David. But instead, Nabal looks at them and says, should I give my bread, water, and flesh to some people I don't know? Well, let's look at 1 John 5 and 7 and let's see what that is. For there are three that bear record in Shamahim. The Father, the Word, and the Ruach HaKodesh, these three are one. And there are three that bear witness in the wrath, the Ruach, and the water, and the blood, and these three agree in one. Well, even when you sit back and you look at the blood, that you can see that as his flesh. You can sit back and look at the water as the wine. In the same token, they could be interchangeable. Now let's look at Acts chapter 10 and let's sit back and look at how these people sat back and said,
Leah, stop jumping off the couch.
We worded it properly. How can I give this to people and we don't know who they are? It's also a turn around and sit back. You can sit back and look at it. He say, you know, Kadesh Father, the world have not known thee, but I have known thee. You know what I'm saying? He say the world know me not because it knew you not. See, they didn't know David's servants because he didn't know David. So you turn around and you look at it, they're not going to know Yahusha's servants because they don't know Yahuwah. So they're not going to know who we are. Acts chapter 10, about verse 44. Say, while Peter yet spake these words, the Ruach HaKodesh fell on them, which heard the word. And they of the circumcision which believed were astonished, as many as came with Kepha, because of on the Gentiles also was poured the gift of the Ruach HaKodesh. For they that heard them speak with tongues and magnified Elohim. Then answered Kepha, can any man forbid water, that these should not be immersed, which have received the Ruach HaKodesh, as well as we? And he commanded them to be immersed in the name of the Master. Then they prayed them to tarry certain days. Now let's look at 1 Peter 11:1. Acts 11:1. And listen what happened. And the apostles and brethren that were in Yehuda heard that the Gentiles had also received the word of Elohim. And when Peter was come up to Jerusalem, they that were of the circumcision contended with him, saying, thou went into men uncircumcised and did eat with them. But Peter rehearsed the matter from the beginning and expounded it by order unto them, saying. See, this is a situation what I was just referring to earlier. Peter already know that these men coming to accuse and coming to battle, so he already ready. Say he had already rehearsed the matter. You know what I'm saying? Now, if he hadn't already went through this in his mind, what was going to occur, there would have been a strong chance Peter might have snapped. Because he know what he just seen. Y'all coming at me saying, these men can't be circumcised, these men can't be this, these men can't be that. when he already know what happened. Most High to magnify his power. Now we're not gonna go to everything that he talking about as far as what happened with what his name is Cornelius. We'll drop down about verse 17. Make it 16. Then remembered I the word of the master, how that he said, Yakanan immersed with water, but you shall be immersed with the Ruach HaKodesh. For as much then as Elohim gave them the like gift as he did unto us, who believed on the master Yahushua HaMashiach, what was I that I could withstand Elohim? When they heard these things, they held their shalom and glorified Elohim, saying, Then hath Elohim also to the Gentiles granted repentance unto life. Well, let's go back to 1 Samuel 25. This man say, how can I give my bread, my water, my flesh that I gave to my shearers, or the people who I set up, cut off or separated, which would be Yasharal, and give it to somebody who I don't know? See, when you turn around and you look at our people, that infuriated us. That infuriated many of our people to see the Gentiles getting the word, which was fulfilling the law when he said, I move you to jealousy with the people, which is not a people. Now, at the same token, we didn't read some of the places, but in Acts 13, you can sit back and you can see where some of our people tried to stir up strife amongst the Gentiles because of their anger. See, they were angry and they sinned because they were trying to cause, what's the word I'm looking for? A dissimulation, a separation amongst the people. You have to sit back and you have to look at that, because that's not no light transgression when you sit back and you say somebody trying to dissemble or cause division or cause discord, to try to separate somebody, try to separate people from each other. That's not the way out here we're going to bring people together. Some people sit back and think about that because they're going to look at stuff carnally. And nobody got time to do all of that. That can get you damned to hell to do something like that. That's something that Yah hates. Those that sow discord among brethren, he hate that. See, we don't sit back and think about that because we don't realize that that is an abomination and nothing abominable is going to enter into the city. And these men anger of seeing these Gentiles get the word. They tried to dissemble. They tried to cause a conflict. 1 Samuel 25 though. Where do we stop at? Verse 12.
You heard your mama. Do it the first time. Get down. Stand in the corner. Hush it up. Push it up. Come on.
1 Samuel 25 and 12. So David's young men turned their way and went again and came and told all those things. And David said unto his men, Gird you every man his sword. And they girded on every man his sword. And David also girded on his sword. And then there went up after David about 400 men, and 200 men abided by the stuff. And but one of the young men told Abigail, Nabal's wife, saying, Behold, David sent messengers out of the wilderness to salute our master, and he railed on them. But the men were very good unto us. Hold on, what is that? And we were not hurt, neither missed we anything, as long as we were conversing with them when we were in the fields. You know what make me what hit your mind right there, Troy, when you hear that? He said the men were very good unto us. We were not hurt. We didn't miss anything as long as we were conversing with them when we were in the field.
You said men were very with us.
No, he said conversing. Let me read it again. He says, but the men were very good unto us, and we were not hurt. Neither missed we anything, as long as we were conversant with them when we were in the fields.
With two or more gathered in my name.
Yeah, that's not a bad one. That wasn't what I would think about, but that ain't no bad one there neither. Yeah, we can definitely look at that one there, and then we can work on that there also about something that we sitting back looking at. The word for conversing here, check this out, right, is halak. It means to go, to walk, to come. To go, walk, come, depart, and proceed. To die, live, manner of life. To lead, to bring, to lead away, carry, to call, to walk. So basically, he said while we were conversing with them, we would sit back and look at conversing in English as meaning as having a conversation. Right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But actually, we look at the Hebrew word halak, it means is that as long as we walk with them and walked in their manner of life, we didn't lack nothing. We didn't lack anything. He said they were good unto us. We didn't receive no hurt. Neither we missed we anything. See, the first thing came to my mind when I looked at that was right there in the Torah. He said, did you not know when you walked in the wilderness, your clothes did not wax old? Neither did your foot swell. All the people who came against you, I killed them all as long as you walk with me. See, that go back to what we started at in Matthew 10 when he said, don't bring no purse or no script with you. Because the workman is worthy of his meat. Because these are the shearers. They the ones out there cutting up the sheep. When you turn around and you look at it, these men who are out there shearing the sheep, this is why Nabal say, should I take my blood, my bread, my water, and my flesh and get for, that I took from my shearers and give it to somebody who I don't know? Because the master say, I'm not sent but to the lost sheep of the house of Yasharah. What are the shearers doing? They going to get the sheep. Who did he send them to? The lost sheep of the house of Yasharah. If he's sending them to the sheep, he's sending them to cut the sheep off. What is he sending to cut the sheep off from? From sin and death. He's sending them to cut them off from the world. That's what they out there for. It said to be cut off or be destroyed. Let's look at Romans chapter 6, verse 19 for that. You know, we'll deal, we gonna work the anger thing in there too. But we kill two birds with one stone. Because we're going to get to that there, because now you see David done got angry, and David finna put swords on his hip, and David finna go kill this man. We actually going to read what David say. He going to kill everything that piss against the wall. Now, he was about to sin in his anger. This is why he say it's not what go into a man that defile him, but what's within. See, that anger caused him to want to kill. Now, I got angry on Sunday, but I ain't want to do nothing to nobody, though. You know what I'm saying? It was some things I wanted to express, get off my chest that I had been holding for a little minute, but I ain't want to do nothing to nobody, though. But at the same token, somebody seeing you angry, they don't know that. You know what I'm saying? And also me knowing that the person who I was angry with, you know what I'm saying? They don't like when I get angry like that. It makes them very upset and they don't like it. And I don't be wanting to get like that. But sometimes they push that particular button and a nigga go. You know what I'm saying? Everybody knows somebody that pretty much, whether they do it intentionally or unintentionally, know what buttons to press to get you to take off. You know what I'm saying? Like they know what to do to make you angry. You know what I'm saying? You don't ever really want to let nobody have that type of sway and power over you, but it's pretty much everybody on this, there's somebody on this earth that everybody knows that they know what to do to get you agitated. 6 and 19. Well, 6 and 18. Being then made free from sin, you have become servants of righteousness. I speak after the manner of men because of the infirmity of your flesh. For as you have yielded your member servants to uncleanness and iniquity unto iniquity, even so now yield your member servants to righteousness under Kadesh. For when you were servants of sin, you were free from righteousness. He say, as long as we were conversing with him, everything was good. As long as we walked with him in this manner of life, everything gonna be good. You know, the book say, I've never seen the righteous begging for bread. You know what I'm saying? When you turn around and sit back and look at it, I'm talking about, I know I'd have been down bad, real broke, but you don't sit back and see those that are y'all around here begging for bread. If they living upright, they ain't around here begging for bread. Just ain't gonna be around here begging for it. Not if the word be true. You know what I'm saying? When you sit back and look at was David begging, he asked this man for something. He wasn't begging for it. And you turn around the same way, you don't see the righteous begging for bread. The book tell you, seek and ye shall find, ask and it shall be given. If you ask for the bread of life, the man will give it to you. You don't have to beg for it. You don't have to beg Elohim for the bread of life. He want to give it to you. The question is, do you want to take it? As we were talking about that bread a few weeks ago, and talking about the bread, I think, last week. You know what I'm saying? Do you want to consume that? Are you going to swear falsely when you eat that bread? And say that this covenant I'll keep, knowing it's not in your heart to do it. That's going to stir up his anger. See, one thing we got to be swift to hear, slow to speak, and slow to wrath. Because he say wrath don't work the righteousness of Elohim. So, when you sitting back taking off wrath with wrath, quickly, You know what I'm saying? That means that, you know what I'm saying, that's not of Elohim. I say not. They ain't say being slow to wrath. That means if that wrath come, it took a long time for that to build up. And also we gonna read where he say grievous words, that stirs up anger. You know what I'm saying? If you say something to somebody over and over again and it grieves their heart and it grieves their heart, what do you expect is going to happen? Especially if that's already been let known to you that grieves me. Then there's nothing going to be profitable from that. And we're going to sit back and we're going to look at that. You don't want to grieve somebody. You know what I'm saying? Because we grieved Elohim for too long. That's why his wrath came on us. You know, before y'all smashed us, it was a long period of time before he did it. He just didn't just jump up and do it. Look at 21. He said, what fruit had you in those things whereof you are now ashamed? For the end of those things is death. But now being made free from sin and become servants to Elohim, you have your fruit unto Kadesh in the end everlasting life. He said, we didn't want for nothing. No hurt came on us. See, look what the master prayed for in John 17. As long as you walk with him, look what he prayed for. John 17 and 11. He said, now I am no more in the world, but these are in the world, and I come to thee, Kadesh Abba. Keep through thy own name those whom thou hast given me, that they may be one as we are. While I was with them in the world, I kept them in thy name. Those that thou gave me I have kept, and none of them is lost, but the son of perdition, that the scripture might be fulfilled. And now come I to thee, and these things I speak in the world, that they may have my joy fulfilled in themselves. I have given them thy word, and the world have hated them, because they are not of the world, even as I am not of the world. You know, it's the same token, right? What we're looking at. David gave them a word. They came in the name of David, and Nabal hated them. Of course he was going to hate him because he was a fool. He was of the world. Those of the world are fools in the eyes of the Most High, and you are his enemy. This is why David rised up and girded up his sword on his side to take him out. Now we can look at a spiritual concept of, we just looking at stuff that with Nabal, David, and Abigail differently than we had past. We done went through this story about 3-4 times, 3-4 different ways. But what we also looking at is that anger that welled up in David because of Nabal's response. Then we're going to see Abigail give him the rebuke to where he don't commit this sin. This is where you sit back, where you say, pray lest you enter into temptation. Because he was tempted, and in that temptation, he became angry. But then, just like he said in 1 Corinthians 10 and 13, if it in temptation, he gave a way out. And he gave Abigail as David's way out, not to sin. Because if David would have killed this man, he would have avenged his own hand. The book say, the law say in Leviticus 19, don't avenge yourselves. So when David would have went and killed Nabal and everything that pertained to him, he would have broke that commandment of avenging himself. To keep him back from that transgression, he sends Abigail. That's why he say, be ye angry, sin not, give no place to the devil, because in that anger, Satan now has place, because now he finna work the wrath of man and commit murder, and that is of the flesh, and that is of the adversary, and therefore Satan has a place to work. See, I say, even in the midst of being angry, and I was heated, please believe me, I was heated. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't finna cuss. I wasn't finna put my hands on nobody. I might have said, some of the things that I said was stuff that I had done said before. But in the tone and the token where they were coming, they was a little bit more hurtful than when I had said them before, in a more even and flat tone, just expressing how I was feeling at the time. You know what I'm saying? See, sometimes you can express how you feeling at the time, and you don't mean to cause no hurt or no pain, but that's just how I'm feeling at the time. You know what I'm saying? But when you get angry, you kind of get a sit back. You might not necessarily care what come out your mouth. You know what I'm saying? And now I got enough wisdom to know that it's not necessarily always good to speak when you angry. You know what I'm saying? Because most of the time your wisdom and your understanding departs when you angry and when you heated. You know what I'm saying? And you'll say some things that you may not necessarily mean. And I know me and this individual have done this on numerous occasions. You know what I'm saying? Gotten angry, said some stuff you ain't really mean. You got to come back and apologize for that. But at the same token, you can't take them words back. You know what I'm saying? They've been spoken, and they rest in that person's head and heart continually. And that's on both ends, on our parts, on mine and theirs. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you have to sit back and I can sit back and acknowledge, yeah, I done took off and been angry with them and said some things, and they have too. I don't know if they will acknowledge that, but I know I done did it. You know what I'm saying? And it's not necessarily cool. And a lot of the times, the people who you love the most and the closest ones to you is the ones who you argue with the most and who you fight with the most. And usually, where that anger and that fighting come from is either one or two things: an outright disdain for one another, or the passion and care and love that y'all have for each other is so fiery that that's why that happens. You know what I'm saying? I can sit back and I can realize, and a lot of times when that fighting come in, and I told this individual this myself, that both of us are stubborn. That's why we butt heads a lot on a lot of stuff. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to a lot of stuff. I remember I seen Allen Iverson talking about Larry Brown, his coach, and he's like how they used to butt heads a lot, but he knew that Larry Brown wanted the best for him and was trying to pull the best out of him. And there was a lot of angry back and forth that these men had, and AI said it was just his lack of maturity at the time of why they butted heads, but he knew that this man loved him and he loved his coach. You know what I'm saying? And they passionate and care for each other and what they were trying to do is why sometimes they butted heads and went up each other's head a lot. And then he said he didn't really realize and appreciate this man until he was older. You know what I'm saying? And that's when he began to really appreciate what this man was trying to do. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes we be like that with our parents. Our parents can be honest if you had parents like that and y'all butt heads and you don't really appreciate what was going on until you get older. And then you begin to realize what that is. Because a lot of times when there's a lot of head butting and a lot of going up against each other, it's because both parties really, 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 really care about each other and want the best to be pulled out of each other. You know what I'm saying? And when they see the best is not coming out from one party or vice versa, they get upset because they know that you better than that. You know what I'm saying? Then they don't see you executing to the capability that they know you're capable of doing, and it angers them and it frustrates them, and that's where that stuff come in at. You know what I'm saying? And I can say that on both ends in this situation. You know what I'm saying? At least in my opinion. John 17 though. Verse 12. He said, when I was with them in the world, I kept them in thy name. Those that thou gave me I have kept, and none of them is lost, but the son of perdition, that the scripture might be fulfilled. And now come I to thee, and these things I speak into the world, that they may have my joy fulfilled in themselves. I have given them thy word, and the world have hated them, because they are not of the world, even as I am not of the world. I pray not that thou should take them out of the world, but thou should keep them from the evil. That's the same thing we sitting back looking at. As long as we walk with this man, say no evil gonna touch thee. Say you're not gonna want for nothing. The righteous ain't gonna be begging for bread. You might be down bad, just like Paul say, I ain't got no certain dwelling place. I live in peril. I know how to hunger. I know how to thirst. I know how to be naked. All this type of stuff. But at the same time, Elohim gonna provide for every need. For every need. That's why he said I can do all things through Mashiach who strengthened me. I know how to abound when I have a lot. I know how to be content with a lot. I know how to be content with nothing or less. But I know as long as I walk in this manner of life or his halak to go with him and to walk with him, ain't nothing gonna happen to me. Just like the law say, man, you can't curse who Elohim is blessed. I don't care how mad you don't like somebody. I don't care whatever the case may be. If y'all have blessed them, can't nobody reverse that. Ain't nothing you can do. Ain't nothing you can do to change that. You can't curse who Elohim is blessed, just like you can't bless whom Elohim is cursed. Nothing you can do can bring a blessing on somebody whom he cursed. We have to sit back. That's the law. That's number 24. Well, number 24 right there, number 23. He said, I've been given a commandment to bless. I can't reverse it. You cannot bless who Elohim is cursed, and you cannot curse whom Elohim is blessed. So as long as you walk in this manner of life, as long as you in the halak, and you walk with him, ain't nothing gonna happen to you. 1 Samuel 25. What'd you say now?
I would say just like with Jacob and Esau.
Absolutely.
Esau cried because he couldn't get that blessing back.
Yes, sir.
And then Ephraim and Manasseh, when he got his hand on his head, while he put his right hand on the second born, he was like, he said, don't move like that. And then he switched him when he tried to.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Because y'all done blessed them. You know what I'm saying? I was talking to a brother about this the other day. Yesterday, matter of fact. He asked me, he said, why did the master in Matthew 11 say Yakanan their Mercer was greater than all men born of women? Why y'all think he said Yakanan was greater than all men born of women? Why would you think he made that statement?
He had blessing in the womb, though. He just brought him in the womb.
Absolutely. He was born with the Ruach from the... No man before Yakanan was born with the Ruach HaKodesh from the womb. You ain't going to read that nowhere. See, when I was talking to the brother, he say, well, what about Jeremiah? He say he sanctified him, set them apart, of being born with the Ruach HaKodesh is two totally different things. He said, I had already set you apart to be a prophet, and I knew you. But it didn't say Jeremiah had the Ruach when he was in the womb, did it? He ain't tell him that, did it? Yakanan was born with the Ruach from the womb. He was born with it. He was the one that paved the way for Yahusha to come. How can any man born of a woman say they're greater than Yakanan, and none of them were born? Who were born with the Ruach besides the master? Because he was conceived by the Ruach. You know what I'm saying? But that's Abba Yah's son. That's Ab Yah's son. So who gonna be greater than Yakanan then? Nobody. You know what I'm saying? Well, we turn around and sit back and look at that when we born again by Mashiach, and we go into his womb or in his grave and be resurrected, then it's as if we were born with the Ruach, and we would be greater than all. That's why he say, greater is he that is in you than that's in the world. You would be Yakanan then. You know what I'm saying? Which I recall, what his name mean? Troy, because it escaped my brain.
I forgot.
Yeah, this escapes my brain right now. If it come to you, it come to you. You know what I'm saying? Huh? But when you say it mean met up? Nevertheless, when that occurs, that would make us greater than those who are born of women. You know what I'm saying? Because when you sit back and look at it, the whole world is flesh. That which is of flesh is flesh, and that which is of the Ruach is Ruach. We want to seek to be greater than those who are born of women. 1 Samuel 25, though, because we got to roll this out of here. It's almost 8:30. So where we at here, right? I'll read that verse again. He say, but the men were very good unto us, and we were not hurt, neither missed we anything, as long as we were conversing with them when we were in the fields. Then they were a wall unto us both night and day, and all the while we were with them keeping the sheep. Do you see how he say he was a wall unto us day and night? Don't you realize he said, I send a pillar of cloud by day and a cloud of fire by night? When you sit back and look at wall, that's a protection or a fence. Basically, you sit back and look like that the meaning of the word, a strong defense. And this is what the master is to those that walk with him, a strong defense. Now, therefore, now consider what thou wilt do, for evil is determined against our master and against all his household, for he is such a son of Belial that a man cannot speak to him. He say he's such a worthless evil man that you can't. That's why he say correction is grievous to him that forsake the way, and he that despise reproof, he shall die. This is what happens to Nabal. He's going to end up dying. Now let's look around here about let's see what David finna tell this woman. Look at about verse 31. We're not going to read all the stuff that she say. You know, she even asked, we dealt with this before, she asked for the sin to fall on her. As she sat back and ran to stop David. Because David said, I'm going to kill everything in his house. This shall be no grief unto thee, nor offense of heart unto my master. Either thou hast shed blood causeless, or that my master have avenged himself. But when Yahuwah shall have dealt well with my master, then remember thy handmaid. David said to Abigail, blessed be Yahuwah Elohim of Yasharal, which sent thee this day to meet me. And Baruch be thy advice, and Baruch be thou, which has kept me this day from coming to shed blood, and from avenging myself with my own hand. For in very deed as Yahuwah Elohim of Yasharal live, which have kept me back from hurting thee, except thou had hasted and come to meet thee, surely there had not been left unto Nabal by the morning light any that piss against the wall. So Daoud received of her hand that which he had brought him, and he said unto her, Go up in shalom to thy house. See, I have hearkened to thy voice, and I have accepted thy person. That's why I say rebuke a wise man, and he'll be wiser. Now, let's look at Hebrews 10 and about 33. See, David was finna go avenge himself. See, that's why he say, Be you angry, sin not, give no place to the devil, because then the devil was sitting back looking to be able to accuse David. I bet he go do this. But Yahuwah in his mercy sat back and he stopped him. Now I sit back and look at it, and it would mention too after the fight. You know, the adversary is sitting back looking at, go ahead and let this be spoken. I bet he snapped. He got off on that one. He won't get off again though. 10 and 30. Hebrew 10, I bring 10 and 30. I sit back and I can say that with good conviction. He got off that time. He won't get off again though. Because you had to sit back and look at that type of stuff. I say, man, and I want y'all to understand this here, and you should know this from dealing with Kepha, dealing with Peter. When the master say, Get behind me, Satan, thou art offense to me. For thou savor the things that be a man and not Elohim. That don't mean that a person is the devil. But if the adversary sees a chance to run up in a situation, he can jump up and he can use somebody for that cause. That don't make you a devil. That don't make you evil. That don't make you wicked. You know what I'm saying? Because I know a lot of people sit back and look at Peter called Peter Satan. He wasn't calling Peter Satan. It meaning it is adversarial. There was something going on that was an adversarial position. You know what I'm talking about? This is where he'll try to sneak in and work to cause confusion and destruction amongst Yah's people, and we have to be aware of his devices when he coming in trying to work that. Because sometimes you sit back and look at it, when he see a situation to jump on in, he gonna jump on in. That don't make nobody wicked because he did that. Y'all need to understand that and know that. You'll know if somebody is wicked and Satan is in them if that's what they do on a regular basis. Or is that something where you see this happens in a particular situation because he's out to do something? And to sit back for me, because it would already ministered to me months ago that the adversary was out to do a particular thing. I know that was him. He seen an opportunity and he moved. Period. That's all that was. You know what I'm saying? I didn't supposed to sat back and peeped it before it happened that this is what it was. I just let my flesh or my anger get the best of me. You know what I'm saying? And we still gonna read that James chapter 5. I say, I ain't sinning by being angry. It wasn't the best time to get angry. It wasn't the best reaction to it, especially to somebody who's near to me, but it happened nonetheless. You know what I'm saying? Wasn't cool, wasn't right, it was wrong, should have went down like that. You know what I'm saying? You sit back, you adjust, you do the same thing like Peter did. You know what I'm saying? Just like what Troy did, same thing Paul did with Peter, let him know, hey man, that wasn't upright according to the gospel, man. You sit back, you see that, you make the necessary correction, and you go on. For we know that to him that hath said, Vengeance belong unto me, I will recompense, saith Yahuwah, and Yahuwah shall judge his people. It is a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living Elohim. We have to sit back and remember, vengeance belong to Yah. Just because somebody make you angry don't mean you take that onto your own hand. That's why he say, Be ye angry and sin not. See, David was finna take that vengeance in his own hand. That ain't what you're supposed to do. Let's look at Proverbs 15 and 1 as we wind this on down. I can't get off all the way off like I want to with this here because I don't want to keep y'all all night. Because we got Friday night, Yah will. We got Shabbat day, Yah will. And we got Shabbat afternoon for Pentecost, Yah will. To look at a lot of things. It says, a soft answer turn away wrath, but grievous words stir up anger. Now we know if you answer somebody softly, it can turn away that person's anger. But what we came there was that second part. It say grievous words. And we're going to look for this word grievous in this instance. And hold on. I'm going to pronounce it correctly. It's 8-7. It means pain, hurt, toil, sorrow, labor, hardship, pain, hurt, offense. So basically, painful words stir up anger. Usually when somebody get angry, it's because it's words that pain them. You know what I'm saying? The things that were said to me pain me because it ain't going down like this. And I keep stressing this to you and got witnesses to back this up to you that this is not the case and you're not receiving that. And this is painful to me. This is grievous to me. You know what I'm saying? And because it's grievous to me and it's painful for me, this is what stirs up the anger. It's like I'm getting hit with a nail over and over and over again in my eyeball. You know what I'm saying? Some of y'all can't relate to that, and some of you can. You know what I'm saying? It made me think about when I was young. When I was telling the truth, my mama didn't believe me. And when I was lying, I could get away with it. Ain't nothing more grievous or painful that you know you telling somebody the truth and they don't believe you. You know what I'm saying? You calling me a lie to my face. But then that part don't even bother you. If it's somebody you care about, it's like, I would hope that you would think better of me, that I wouldn't do this. And it's frustrating to me that you don't believe me. And it makes you angry. Because you don't, I put it this way. It won't make you angry if you don't care what this person think about you or how they view you. You could care less. If you care about the person and how they view you and their opinion of you, then it's going to upset you. You know what I'm saying? That's the difference. Because if it's somebody you don't care about what they think about you, you don't care if they believe you or not. You know what I'm saying? If you don't care about how they view you, you don't really care. And every last one of y'all know exactly what I'm talking about, because it's somebody that done said something about you or lied on you, or you told them something and they didn't believe it, and you could care less. You ain't giving no second thought. You ain't losing no sleep. It didn't bother you now because I don't care what you think about me. But if it's somebody who you care what they think about you, and you care how they view you, and their opinion and viewpoint of you matters, it's going to bother you. You know what I'm saying? It's going to bother you. Ain't no way around that. Drop down about verse 32. My apologies, 16 and 32. This right here wasn't executed on my behalf. We just got to execute it a little better. A lot of times we do. But I say it's a little different because there's some care involved in that situation. He said, he that is slow to anger is better than the mighty, and he that ruleth ruach than he that taketh city. So we sit back and look at it. Why would that be the case? Galatians chapter 5. And we'll try to work in being slow to wrath. I know I mentioned something about Moses. I ain't get around that to it. Y'all will we get around that to it in the subsequent days that are coming. But at Galatians 5 and 22, and we just coming to really look at, mention just one thing. Says, but the fruit of the Ruach is love, joy, peace, long suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, temperance. Against such there is no Torah. And they that are Mashiachs have crucified the flesh with the affections and lusts. And if we live in the Ruach, let us also walk in the Ruach. And that's just to sit back and have the self-control. That's why you say he that is slow to anger is better than the strong. Because that takes a lot of matter of inner strength to keep your anger and your wrath at bay. That's why you say he that ruleth his Ruach is better than him that take a city. Because it take more power and strength to control your spirit than it is to overcome a city. You know what I'm saying? So we had to learn that times we could get angry, people can get us angry, but we could keep ourselves under control and be angry and sin not. And if we have a quarrel with one another, or we offended somebody, or you offended them, that you can repent unto them, that they forgive you, and you forgive them, then we'll be on the right track. So hallelujah for Yahushua. We'll stop it right there though.